The story of Kim Go-eun's recent charity act has taken over the internet. In a world where celebrity headlines are often dominated by scandals, brand deals, or glamorous red carpet appearances, Kim Go-eun's quiet, heartfelt gesture has become one of the most talked about moments in Korean entertainment. What started as a simple act of giving has grown into a story that's moving fans around the world. But what exactly did Kim Go-eun do, and why has this one moment brought so many people to tears? To answer that, we need to look deeper at the timing, the meaning, and the history behind her generosity. Kim Go-eun has never been one to chase attention. Since her debut in 2012 with the film A Muse, she has consistently chosen substance over spectacle, both in her career choices and in her personal life. Known for her quiet confidence and deep sense of authenticity, Kim has always stood apart from the wave of manufactured celebrity personas in Korean entertainment. But when it comes to acts of kindness, her approach is just as deliberate. Her latest donation, now making global headlines, was never meant to be seen by the public. The story broke when a representative from a children's welfare organization in Seoul revealed that Kim Go-eun had made a substantial anonymous donation to support medical treatments for children suffering from chronic illnesses. The donation came without any public statement, press release, or agency involvement. In fact, according to sources close to the organization, Kim Go-eun specifically asked that her name not be used in any publicity materials. She simply wanted the money to reach those who needed it. But the organization eventually confirmed her involvement after fans began connecting the dots, realizing the donor's identity through indirect clues mentioned in the charity's annual report. Once the news spread, fans were stunned. Not because Kim Go-eun had donated, but because of how often she seems to do it without anyone noticing. People began revisiting her past, compiling records of her previous donations to wildfire victims, flood relief funds, children's education programs, and even animal shelters. Every time, the same pattern emerged: quiet, consistent, and deeply personal giving, never tied to promotional events or projects. What made this latest act hit harder was the context. Just days before the story broke, Kim Go-eun had wrapped up promotions for her latest drama, You and Everything Else, a project centered around love, loss, and human compassion. During interviews, she spoke often about the emotional toll of portraying her character, a woman confronting the pain of watching a loved one suffer. When the donation was revealed shortly after, fans immediately drew a connection. To them, it wasn't just charity. It was a continuation of her art, an expression of the same empathy she shows through her performances. Online forums and social media exploded with discussions. Fans from around the world flooded her fan pages, writing messages about how her sincerity had touched them. On platforms like Twitter, hashtags like #KimGoeunDonation and #KindGoeun trended globally for hours. Korean netizens, often critical of celebrity behavior, were overwhelmingly positive, calling her a rare kind of star and a person who restores faith in humanity. The tone of the conversation was clear. This wasn't about fame or image, it was about genuine kindness. Industry insiders also began to comment. One senior journalist at a Korean entertainment outlet described the situation as a moment that defines Kim Go-eun's legacy. According to them, what separates her from many other celebrities isn't just her talent, it's the way she balances her career with a quiet sense of responsibility. Kim Go-eun doesn't need to announce her goodness, they said. People discover it on their own, and that's what makes it powerful. What few people realize is that this pattern of giving goes back years. Early in her career, Kim Go-eun was already known within small circles for supporting local charities. She once used her first major paycheck to make a donation to a children's home she had visited before her debut. Over time, as her fame grew, so did the scale of her giving. But she kept her approach the same: no photographers, no social media posts, no sponsor campaigns. This latest donation, however, hit differently because of what it supports. According to the foundation statement, Kim Go-eun's contribution will fully cover the treatment costs of several children who have been waiting for operations that their families couldn't afford. The foundation emphasized that her donation arrived at a critical time, as many families were struggling due to increased medical expenses and reduced public funding. The impact is direct and measurable. Lives will be saved because of her action. For fans, this realization is what made the news so emotional. Many have shared stories online about how Kim Go-eun's roles have inspired them through difficult moments. Now, they see her extending that same compassion into the real world. To them, she's not just an actress. They see her as someone who embodies the empathy her characters often portray. Comment sections on Korean entertainment websites quickly filled with praise. One user wrote, "She doesn't talk about changing the world. She just quietly does it." Another said, "It's not just her acting that makes people cry. It's who she is when the cameras are off." In the days following the reveal, even mainstream Korean news programs covered the story, highlighting how Kim Go-eun represents a different kind of celebrity model, one that focuses on meaning rather than visibility. Her decision not to publicize her act contrasts strongly with the usual industry trend, where charitable activities are often tied to sponsorships or marketing campaigns. BH Entertainment, Kim Go-eun's agency, eventually confirmed the donation but declined to go into details. Their brief statement read, "Kim Go-eun has been consistently involved in giving to those in need. She believes that her success allows her to share with others and prefers to do so privately." The statement was short, but it reinforced what fans already knew. Her values speak for themselves. Interestingly, people close to Kim Go-eun have described her as someone deeply affected by the stories she hears during her acting work. She reportedly keeps in touch with some of the social workers and medical professionals she meets through charity events, sometimes even visiting programs without the media knowing. A production staff member once mentioned that during the filming of Little Women, Kim asked to learn more about the realities faced by families struggling financially in Korea, so she could portray her role authentically. That same empathy, it seems, extends into her real life. The emotional impact of her latest act isn't just about generosity, it's about timing, sincerity, and contrast. In recent months, the entertainment industry has been marred by controversies involving celebrities engaging in performative philanthropy, making donations tied to publicity stunts or to repair damaged images. Kim Go-eun's quiet gesture appeared at exactly the right moment to remind people that real kindness doesn't need to be broadcast. Fans have also pointed out that this isn't just about money. Kim Go-eun's charity choices consistently reflect her awareness of marginalized communities. Whether supporting children, elderly citizens, or victims of natural disasters, her donations often go to those who don't usually receive media attention. This thoughtful selection reveals an understanding of where help is most needed, another reason fans feel so emotionally connected to her actions. What's also remarkable is how this story continues to grow globally. International fan groups in Southeast Asia, Latin America, and Europe have started fundraising campaigns in her name, pledging to donate to local children's hospitals and charities as a tribute. Many have written messages like, "Inspired by Kim Go-eun's kindness," or "Following Go-eun's example." What began as one quiet act of generosity in Seoul has now become an international movement of compassion. In interviews throughout her career, Kim Go-eun has often talked about staying grounded. She once said, "Fame doesn't change what matters to me. What matters is how I treat people and what I give back." At the time, it sounded like a simple statement, but now, in light of her actions, it carries real weight. Her recent donation proves that these weren't just words, they were a guiding principle. Entertainment reporters note that this moment could influence the broader industry. As one article in the Korea Herald put it, Kim Go-eun has shown that quiet integrity can generate louder respect than any marketing campaign. Her actions may encourage more artists to rethink how they use their platforms, not for publicity, but for impact. Even within her fan community, there's been a noticeable shift. Many fans have begun writing about how Kim Go-eun's behavior influences them to act differently in their own lives, to volunteer, donate, or simply be kinder in small ways. Some have said that her sincerity restores their faith in celebrity culture, proving that fame and humility can coexist. Behind all this attention, Kim Go-eun has remained silent. She has not commented publicly on the donation or responded to the growing coverage. To many fans, that silence is the most powerful part of the story. It confirms what they already feel. They're not following a celebrity trying to impress the world, but a person quietly trying to make it better. And that is why so many people have been moved to tears. It's not just the amount of money she gave or the cause she supported. It's the example she set. In an industry obsessed with visibility, Kim Go-eun reminded everyone that the most meaningful actions are often invisible. As the headlines fade and new stories take their place, one thing remains clear. Kim Go-eun's legacy is not just in her performances, but in her principles. She continues to prove that true influence doesn't come from being the loudest in the room. It comes from being the most genuine. For her fans, that's more inspiring than any award or red carpet moment could ever be. Her story is a reminder that compassion still exists, that kindness still matters, and that sometimes the smallest gestures have the biggest impact. Kim Go-eun didn't just donate money. She reminded an entire generation of what it means to care. And that's why her recent charity act isn't just news. It's a moment that will be remembered for years to come.